Hello there. You are just in time for NTV at 1. It is the 4th day of July 2020. My name is Zeynab Ismail. We have all the stories that are making headlines across the country and beyond. Now, Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru has bowed to pressure and withdrawn names of a 7-member team formed to reconcile her and her ward representatives. In a statement sent out this morning, Waiguru says the U-turn on the reconciliation team is informed by feedback received after the list was released and the need for further consultations. Waiguru survived impeachment last month after the senator acquitted her of all the allegations of gross violation of the Constitution, abuse of office and gross misconduct. But fallout between her and the county MCAs remains. Meanwhile, Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha is urging parents to give more attention to their children who could be seeking it in the wrong places. Magoha is blaming parents for failing on their roles, which has led to teen pregnancies, among other vices. Take a look.
After the latest reports showing a surge in the number of pregnancies in the country, the head of state has asked the Ministry of Education to look into the matter urgently.
Hii ujinga ya pregnancy inatoka wapi? What is it? Can we take our parenthood back? Can we take our parenthood back where we sanctify life?
Even as the numbers rise, it has been noted that the sexual assaults are more common at home. Since mid-March, pupils have been at home with their parents, who Magoha says have neglected to take care of their responsibility.
I'm going to plead with His Excellency to ban this nonsense of saying the body has to come and sleep. When the body is sleeping around, you have to do this to Komatanga and the children do other things. The body should come from the mortuary into the grave. Hakuna kitu kama this Komatanga, like you have in Kilifi and in other places like where I come from. So the issue of our children getting wild is our problem.
Magoha was in Githunguri, where he was inspecting the preparedness of learning institutions ahead of the expected reopening of schools. Lila Mohammed, NTV.
Now, one person has been confirmed dead, while more than 4 sustained serious injuries after an overnight attack along the Makueni-Kajiado border. Now, according to the area OCPD, the attack has been occasioned by border wrangles between the two communities living in the area. The injured were taken to Makindu Hospital, while the body of the deceased was taken to the same hospital morgue. Our correspondent Kevin Silu is now joining us for more details. Kevin, what more information have you been able to gather from what transpired last evening?
Good afternoon to you, Zeynab, from there in studio. I'm joining you live from Makueni County, and on my left side is Kajiado and the other side is Makueni. And here in Makueni, as you just said, yesterday night an attack erupted between Makueni and Kajiado. And this attack left 1 dead, as you have just mentioned, and other 4 seriously injured, whereby the deceased now is at Makindu morgue, and while the 4 are getting serious injuries, whereby 1 sustained injuries from attack by machete, while the other sustained head injuries too, whereby he was attacked with using a spear. And this has been just occasioned by land wrangles, which has been there for quite some time, bearing in mind that last year Machakos High Court ruled in favor of Mikululo Ranch, whereby the land, 73,000 hectares of land, was given to Mikululo Ranch. And according to members, just in last year, but 1 fresh skirmishes just came up and 2 people were killed last year, and this has been here for quite some time. But according to Makueni County Commissioner Mahali Mohammed, is that the wrangles have not been occasioned by border wrangles, but rather by the land law, which has been there for quite some time. And here in Makueni, residents from this area are not happy with what is happening, and they are calling upon the leaders from this area to intervene into this situation and maybe look a way forward in which they are going to solve it amicably. And from here, maybe we are going to be giving you more details in our subsequent bulletins. Zeynab, back to you.
All right, Kevin Silu there reporting. And of course, that is certainly a story that we're keeping a very close eye on. Well, young immature locusts have invaded green vegetation in Turkana County. Residents are now concerned about the impending destruction if action is not taken urgently.
The blanket of locusts that cover the trees and the ground here in Lodwar town, Turkana County, have returned. The county had stepped up efforts to control the locusts in the area after mature swarms were spotted last month. According to the Food and Agriculture Organization, this included 6 surveillance vehicles, 3 pickups mounted with sprayers, 1 helicopter and 2 airplanes equipped with sprayers.
We are sending helicopters, 2 helicopters at the moment, that are identifying where those locusts are, and then using the coordinates that we capture, we set the 2 aircraft for spraying.
But residents are now questioning whether the chemicals used to kill the locusts are effective.
Hii ndege inaweka nini? Ina spray hii dawa namna gani? Inaua hii, sababu hata ukienda mahali pengine huwezi kupata hata hii nini. Hii nsike kama imekufa. Ninaona sasa hiyo ndege pengine inapita juu zaidi.
Kama kaunti na serikali ya juu, kama hawana uwezo hiyo, hawachane kushughulika ama kupoteza pesa bure, hawapatia wananchi pesa wakule.
FAO and the county government have, however, assured residents of a more concerted fight. Gina Kirori, NTV.
Now, tension is high in Maktau area in Taita Taveta due to an impending eviction. The residents claim a former chief is behind the eviction and plans to transform the vast area into a wildlife sanctuary. Our correspondent Bill Oteno has more.
Maktau is best known as World War I tourist destination. It has a population of more than 10,000. Many say they have lived here for decades. The locals are now living in fear of eviction. They're serving notice to vacate. Via a notice published in one of the local dailies by Isanga Iwishi Group branch, the locals have 4 months.
Babu zetu wote wamezikiwa hapa. Kwa nini tangu hiyo miaka yote watu wanazikiwa hapa? Kama ni shule ni hapa, maendeleo yote ni hapa. Unajua saa nyingine mtu anasema hapa ni kwangu, ninalima hapa, niko na mali hii na mali hii, ndio hapa ni kwangu. Lakini sisi tunashangaa wanasema ni kwao. Lakini kile kinachotambulisha kwamba hapa ni kwao hatukionagi.
People first settled in the area in 1919. Maktau Primary was established in 1947. After independence, the area was under Taveta division before it was moved to Undanyi and finally Mwatate sub-county.
Sasa tumekuwa tukiishi na uoga throughout. Tangu baba zetu wameaga na sisi tunaendelea kuishi na uoga, hatujui what will happen next. Serikali yenyewe Ministry of Lands tunashindwa kuelewa kwa sababu inawezekana vipi Ministry of Lands itoe title deed ya group ranch mahali ambapo ni sublocation na iko na settlement na wananchi wako hapo kila kitu. Isitoshe leo hii tunavyozungumza, aliyekuwa MP wetu wa Mwatate alipokosa kura, alipotoka nje ya ofisi, amegeuka sasa yeye legal advisor wa Isanga Iwishi.
The county government of Taita Taveta has warned the group against impending eviction.
Hatuwezi kamwe kukubali watu wa Maktau ambao wanaishi katika ardhi zao za jadi watolewe na mtu yoyote yule. Hizo mambo mikakati ya kikoloni, ati watu waishi miaka mingi alafu mmoja waje kutoa watu hapo, hatutakuwa tunafanya jukumu letu kama serikali kama tutakubali. Group ranch si ardhi ya binafsi. Group ranch ni ardhi ya jamii, na watu wa Maktau ambao ardhi yao ya jadi lazima washirikishwe kikamilifu na ardhi zao zilizoko sasa ziheshimiwe.
With tension growing in the area, the locals are requesting both national and county government to intervene. Bill Otieno, NTV, Taita Taveta.
Now, more than 30,000 national identity cards lie uncollected at the Coast Registration Bureau, most of them due to the coronavirus pandemic. According to the Deputy Director, National Registration Bureau Coast Region, Agri Masai, most of the IDs belong to residents living in neighboring counties and are unable to access the office in Mombasa. Masai says among the interventions put in place to protect members of the public seeking services include hand-washing tanks with water and soap, sanitizers at every stage of acquiring the identity cards, as well as temperature checks. Now, two members of parliament from Muranga County and allied to Deputy President William Ruto have protested the exclusion from a meeting organized by the national government involving a section of leaders allied to President Uhuru Kenyatta. The two, Kiharu's Ndindi Nyoro and Kandara's Alice Wahome, say their political stand should not be a deterrent to realizing development.
A high-level development meeting held in Nairobi Friday, involving a number of political leaders from Muranga County, including the governor and a host of cabinet secretaries, is causing ripples in the county. MPs allied to Deputy President William Ruto, that is Ndindi Nyoro of Kiharu and Alice Wahome of Kandara, faulted their exclusion from the meeting.
If anyone invited me for any meeting of that nature, it is so easy. Akuonyeshe barua, akuonyeshe message, akuonyeshe call. What other way? Or minutes. So watu waache kupiga vipidire. Kuna vitu huko Nairobi zinaitwa vipidire. Unaita watu tusarakasi kidogo hapa, kunasemekana kunafanyika hivi, makofi inapigwa, mkutano kuisha.
We want money in the budget. Sio PR ambaye haina maana. Mimi naona mkutano ya leo pengine kwa vile hatukuhusika, maybe it's because they already have our project. That is one. Two, could be politics. And three, some of these meetings are not always very beneficial to individual members of parliament.
The meeting in Nairobi mapped development areas that should be prioritized ahead of a presidential tour.
We've discussed about water, we've discussed about laws, we've discussed about alcohol and other areas of mutual interest. And in particular, we've also discussed about health. And in particular, we've also touched on the commitments which the president has made during his previous visits to Muranga County.
Soon enough, we will give you a report on the number of projects that have been completed and expenditures on projects that have worked very well as a result of these kinds of meetings. So we unlock challenges we have, disagreements we would have.
The two now hold that they will not deviate from their political choice.
So I also want to tell the people of Muranga and Mount Kenya region and Kenya yote, maendeleo ni haki. Sio kitu ya kurushiwa mahidi vile kuku inarushiwa, ni haki.
Muranga County has become the avenue of political activity as cabinet secretaries and government functionaries troop to the area to either launch or commission projects. Kennedy Muredhi, NTV.
Now, real estate developers have been challenged to adopt green energy solutions in their projects as a way of making urban development sustainable in the country. Speaking during the unveiling of the Amani Ridge property in Kiambu County, Optiven Group Chief Executive Officer George Washuri has called upon real estate developers to focus on sustainable solutions to grow the sector in the country. This comes barely a week after the Finance Act of 2020 imposed a value-added tax on solar equipment, something that has elicited uproar from the renewable energy sector.
The entire water generated from the household that are going to be in this particular project, Amani Ridge, the place of peace, we are able to recycle 70% of this water recycling, whereby you can use it for greening. And going forward, this is what we are talking about, sustainable communities.
Now, the World Health Organization has urged countries hit by serious coronavirus outbreaks to wake up to the realities on the ground instead of bickering and to take control. This comes as the death toll rose to more than 529,000 in over 11 million confirmed cases.
Touching almost every country on earth since it emerged in China late last year, the coronavirus has hit at least 11 million people and killed 529,000 worldwide. The Americas are the hardest hit region, with most cases and deaths registered in the United States. The numbers are also skyrocketing in several countries in Latin America. The WHO has warned countries moving away from lockdowns.
It is really time for countries to look at the data. Please do not ignore what the data is telling you. Too many countries are ignoring what the data is telling them. And people need to wake up. The data is not lying. The situation on the ground is not lying.
The WHO has also urged countries to put an effort in testing for a vaccine. This comes as the Solidarity trial looking at possible treatment approaches to COVID-19 continues.
The first of everything is difficult. So the question should be, will we even ever have the vaccine itself? So, of course, we need to have optimism, but that optimism should be a cautious optimism, because this will be the first vaccine for the coronavirus.
The problem will not magic itself away. So we would advise all governments to try and break the problem down. Do what you have to do where you have to do it. But focus on trying to keep your surveillance going and keep your health system able to cope with the load of cases.
People have been urged to continue adhering to WHO guidelines on how to curb the spread, such as social distancing, washing hands and wearing of face masks, as they are the only available way of locking out the virus as the testing of vaccines continues.
Investing in having a vaccine is very important, and we should do it. But many countries have proven again and again that with the available tools, we can suppress it. We can control it. And we should use whatever at hand to suppress it, and it works.
This comes as other countries like Brazil watered down a law requiring the wearing of face masks in public places to prevent the spread of the coronavirus.
All right, and on that note, let's take a quick breather here on NTV at 1. We still have a lot more we've lined up for you. Stay with us.
Group and margarine. New look, same great taste.
When the world changed, it made us go back to the simple joys and love the little things even more, like serving up your best, eating together, and sharing more. Now, we'll take nothing for granted and always remember to taste the simple joys. Coca-Cola, taste the simple joys.
Oh my, oh my, oh my days. Life is wonderful. Life is wonderful. Life is wonderful. Life is wonderful. Never understood. Life can be this good.
Sona moja imetengenezwa kwa njia spesheli ili kupambana na maumivu kwa haraka. Sona moja ina aspirin kama kiungo. Sona moja, kitulizo kamili. Maumivu yakizidi, pata ushauri wa daktari.
Well, thank you so much for staying with us. You're watching NTV at 1. Now, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has called for calm and for all stakeholders in Ethiopia to refrain from any action likely to fuel tension. The streets of Addis were relatively calm on Thursday and Friday, though traffic was paused and many shops remained closed. Early on Thursday, 2 people were shot dead and 7 others injured in Addis Ababa when soldiers opened fire on mourners seeking to attend the funeral of a popular Ethiopian singer whose assassination has sparked violence that has left around 100 dead. A member of the Oromo ethnic group he was, Ethiopia's largest, and was shot dead by unknown attackers on Monday night, fueling ethnic tensions and threatening the country's democratic transition. His music gave voice to Oromo's widespread sense of economic and political marginalization during years of anti-government protests that swept Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed to power in 2018. Meanwhile, at least 2 people are feared dead and 13 others missing in western Japan after heavy rains triggered massive floods and landslides. The authorities have issued evacuation orders for more than 76,000 residents. Aerial footage showed a resident being lifted with a rope from a roof to a military helicopter as an entire town was awash with muddy water. A massive landslide destroyed several houses, with rescuers searching for missing people through half-buried windows. The nation's weather agency downgraded rain warnings by 1 notch from the highest emergency level in Kyushu Island, but Prime Minister Shinzo Abe urged local people to be on maximum alert. The minister has ordered 10,000 troops on standby for immediate deployment to join rescue and recovery operations. All right, let's now take a look at stories making headlines in the world of sports. And more than 100 vulnerable athletes from Kapsabet in Nandi County benefited from food donations courtesy of the Eliud Kipchoge Foundation, among other donors. The upcoming athletes who depend on local races for upkeep received packages which included packets of maize and wheat flour, rice, cooking oil and soap. Female athletes also received reusable sanitary towels. Kipchoge called on well-wishers across the country to support their fellow athletes. And the English Premier League continues today with Manchester United taking on Bournemouth at Old Trafford in one of the fixtures. 5th placed United currently occupy the final Champions League qualification spot unless Manchester City's European ban is overturned. 4th placed Chelsea play Watford in the late kick-off at Stamford Bridge. Leicester City, who are 3rd, will welcome Crystal Palace at the King Power Stadium. Arsenal visit Wolves at Norwich City, take on Brighton at Carrow Road in other matches of the day. And Atletico Madrid maintained 3rd place in the Spanish La Liga after beating Real Mallorca 3-0 Friday night. Alvaro Morata scored twice for Atletico. The first from the sport in the 29th minute and a second in the 49th minute. Koke struck the 3rd goal in the 79th minute. And today, Celta Vigo play Real Betis, Real Valladolid as welcomes Alaves as Valencia visit Granada. Tomorrow, Atletico Bilbao will take on leaders Real Madrid, while Villarreal entertain champions Barcelona.
Ball played over the top towards Correa. Baba clears it, struck by Koke, and there's the 3rd.
And the Italian Serie A will continue today as defending champions Juventus play Torino. Juve lead the log with 72 points, 4 ahead of second-placed Lazio, who take on AC Milan tonight at the Olimpico Stadium. In other matches, Sassuolo will play against Lecce. Tomorrow, 3rd-placed Inter Milan will tackle Bologna at the San Siro, as Atlanta, who are 4th, entertain Cagliari. Napoli will play Roma at San Paolo. Now, football was once the beautiful game, but has now become a well-written script where winners and losers are decided way before kickoff for financial gain. Match fixing has become a silent but deadly disease killing Kenyan football. And with the scourge often discussed in hushed tones and behind closed doors, this Sunday at 9 p.m, NTV investigates and opens the can of worms on just how far the corrupt vice has rooted itself in the country's game on the football court. Take a look.
Football. Once the beautiful game. Now, a well-written script with the winners and losers decided way before kickoff.
The player who told me pointedly that the game was thrown was called
match fixing. The silent but deadly disease destroying Kenyan football.
I met Wilson, nicknamed Willie, introduced to him as Willie.
This Sunday at 9 p.m.
Sports betting is just cancer.
We are ready to die for our country.
NTV investigates on just how far the corrupt vice has rooted itself in the country's game.
Well, away from the sporting action, the cat is out of the bag. Our politicians have finally agreed to what we have always suspected to be the case, that they are just animals domesticated on a farm they call political party. On this farm, it's claimed all animals are equal, but on their own admission, some animals are more equal than others. And as Emmanuel Juma reports on Bullseye, there is a chance some of our MPs cannot read.
Called them the dogs of war, the political war. But there are times when they prefer to be referred to as cows, ng'ombe in Kiswahili.
When you see us following Baba like cows, we are fearing consequences.
It's now been confirmed, ladies and gentlemen, this is the animal kingdom, and in here is the animal farm.
Unlike Honorable Junet, who the other day referred to himself as a cow, it is not another member who referred to him as a cow. It is him who referred to himself as a cow. And it is within the rights of Honorable Junet to refer and describe himself as a cow.
To prove that they are so in love with that status, even signatures have changed.
Wenye niliona kwa hiyo karatasi, signature imechorwa ng'ombe, unasema ni mbunge amesign. So tunajua hizo signature ni fake.
Yes, Ndindi, yes. That signature could have been genuine. Asked Junet about its authenticity before arguing otherwise. He said cows just do and follow blindly, right? Let's see.
Na moja ni mheshimiwa hapa. Alisign, hakujua anasign nini. That's why I'm saying those signatures are fake. And he can talk to himself, for himself.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So you just signed without reading?
Na venye niliingia hapo tu niliweza kupatiwa ile kitu na nikaweza kusign.
But Mahesh, what did you think you are signing for or against?
Kuna loan ambayo wale wabunge ambao wako kwa pakoso huwa wanapewa hapa na mheshimiwa aliniambia ya kwamba anataka kuomba hiyo kuomba loan, na kwa hivyo nikaweka sahihi hiyo.
Eti waliweka signatures bila kujua. You need to recall those members of parliament.
That could be so, but when did the mheshimiwa know it was an impeachment motion against CS Macharia?
Nilikuja kuuliza mheshimiwa Kimani Ngujiri wa Nyeri ni ya nini hiyo kitu, ndio wakati alinieleza ya kwamba ni waziri Macharia ambaye anataka kutolewa.
They are our representatives, and I can only say one thing. We are in trouble.
We'll stand by Macharia.
Just call it jeshi la Macharia.
Sisi ni jeshi ya Rais Kenyatta.
Okay, make that jeshi la UK.
Hatuwezi kutisika sisi.
And he of the Jicho Pevu fame was left aghast, confused.
Leo ninasimama peke yangu mbele ya vyombo vya habari.
But of course, and then more animal talk.
The hyenas are making noise, and as a lion who is in charge of the most important resource in the country, let him steer the wheel forward for infrastructural development in the Republic of Kenya.
When a lion is eating, even if the hyenas make noise, you ignore them completely.
So, other animals are eating, others are salivating. Which animal is which? And then there was this man.
My name is Chirau Ali Mokwere.
You can also call him Zipapa, and he has a problem with this man. Mudhama, you are in trouble, it seems. What have you been doing?
All what I was doing was donkey work, because I looked for funds for the party, I promoted the party.
We have never given him that role.
And the action?
You either leave or you'll be made to leave.
I have left.
Mudhama has lefted a divorce within Wiper Party, a party that recently moved in with a new groom.
Tuna mkataba wa NASA hivi sasa ambao waregarega, hata kila mmoja ajua. Waregarega.
Naughty Wiper, you are in bed with Jubilee, yet you have not given NASA a goodbye kiss.
Kwa hivyo tumeamua sisi hatuwezi kubaki hivi hivi.
Of course, it's July, the cold month, and one can't remain hivi.
NASA ifilie mbali, mambo yaishe.
Zipapa has found his voice.
My throat is refusing.
Panyako is struggling to find his. The solution?
Wafungue mabao watu tukunywe pombe.
Emmanuel Juma, Bullseye, NTV.
All right, and that is where we wrap it up. Thank you so much for choosing NTV. My name is Zeynab Ismail. Do enjoy the rest of your afternoon.